Hello friends, let's make a Grim Reaper puppet. We'll need 2 pieces of paper to make the skull itself, and then 2 additional pieces if we want to make a hood. We'll need something to make some marks. We'll need our glue stick, tape, our trusty scissors, and for one brief portion, a craft knife comes in handy and something safe to cut on with it. Let's get started. To begin, we're going to make a simple shape out of this black paper that is actually the skeleton to our skull. It will create a form that we can wrap the skull shape around later. Our first fold is a very short one, only about an inch away from the edge we're going to fold over. Flip the piece of paper over and now fold over about 3 inches. Finally, we're going to fold this piece back. We're going to fold it very close to our first fold, but not quite in line with it. So I can see it peeking out right there. It can be a good idea to score these. Use the side of a pencil. I like these scissors here. Get those folds nice and crisp. Looking at it here, there's our mouth. Let's open the sheet back up. And now we're going to make a fold in this direction. Folding it essentially into thirds, overlapping the 2 ends pretty much completely. Unfold. Now we need to make a series of cuts. We'll cut in here past our fold by about 3/4 of an inch. Here, we'll stop right at the fold. Here we come in a bit. So here, we're cutting beyond the fold. Here, we're cutting right on the fold. Fold these flaps around. These flaps actually create the glove that your hand will go in. So inside the puppet, this is how I grip it. 2 fingers outside of that glove, 2 in, and then the thumb at the bottom. So let's tape these in arches that will accommodate our fingers. I think that's good. So a nice generous bit of tape. We want to make sure that this part is really sturdy. You could reinforce it with glue too if you wanted. For the thumb, be especially generous on this side, on the entry point. You can taper it in closer away from that point. But on that end, give yourself a big opening, and I even give myself a relief cut right here. And you'll notice once we get our hand back in that you really need that for your thumb to give it room to open and close and flex. So keep working with those until they feel comfortable for you. Now we want to fold in the corners of the mouth, a 45-degree angle. The next step will be to pull this paper flush along here and tape it in place. I like to begin by having a piece of tape at the ready on the piece of paper here. wrap it around, and then fold the tape down. We're done with this piece for the time being. We'll set it aside. With our other piece of paper, we're going to first make a fold less than 2 inches in width along the length of the paper. We're going to cut this strip off. Set the larger piece aside for right now. This piece is going to be our jaw. Fold it in half. We need to make a series of cuts. We'll cut from here to here. So this is about 1 inch or so, and I'm cutting pretty close here, but I need to leave some right there so this piece doesn't fall off. We're also going to cut a little arch out of this. We're going to move about 1 inch over here and cut some little V's. These are going to be the teeth. Be sure to do one right there at the crease. This piece, fold over, and up, likewise over here. We're actually going to leave this aside for the moment. We don't attach it yet. Come back over to our larger piece of paper. Fold it in half. Now we need to make some marks on here so we know where to cut. Slight bit of drawing involved here. We'll start with our teeth down here. Don't go all the way to the end. That's probably good, about right there. Just above them is our nose. And it's really like an upside down heart, like we're doing half of a heart there. And now the eye socket. This is where you can add a lot of expression to your character. You could make it look sad, angry, goofy by drawing different eye sockets. I'm going to do a pretty traditional looking eye socket right here, something like this. Don't want to dip down quite that far because we're going to need to also make a cut from about right here all the way out like this. I don't want that to get too flimsy on me. And now, starting above this corner of the eye by about 1 inch, I'm going to draw a line out here. So we'll be cutting all of these pieces out and cutting along these lines. And here is where our craft knife will come in handy. Because with a good sharp blade, we can cut this enclosed shape out, both layers at the same time. I'm actually going to work with this side facing out so we don't see any of my pencil mark. Now it's time to bring it back in. And we'll orient ourselves by attaching the teeth along the upper jaw just like that. You'll see that it's a little bit long, so we'll fold that over. We'll get it centered in place. Fold it around the back right here. I want to add a little bit of glue along the teeth here to make sure that it doesn't shift at all. And maybe using some glue back here, and we'll also use some tape just to be sure. Lining the teeth up right with the edge. Centering it. Okay, that's in place. Round the paper a little bit, don't fold it, but encourage it to bend just past the eye here. Now we fold this paper along, tape it to the edge here as well. Push it all the way forward so it's in line. We're going to overlap these a bit, not too drastically. Overlap by the same amount over here. And we do need to make another cut. I don't want to come down as far as these points right here, but I'm going to make a cut right there. We can fold this in a bit. Tape it in place. We'll fold these points out of the way. Now we can attach our jaw. Use a piece of tape to both tape this folded piece in place and protrude out so we can use it to tape to the jaw. We'll want to put a little glue. Get it centered up nicely. So here we have our skull. You can, if you want, push the black paper away. It creates a little bit of depth and make sure that it looks dark all inside the eye. Kind of push that in and push it away from the nose right there. Now let's make a hood. 2 sheets of construction paper, a little tab connecting the two, folding over here in this lower corner. We're going to put a piece of tape along the entire top. We've taped this corner. So over here, we're going to make a cut like this. We're going to be folding in. We want to fold from this corner, not all the way here. Fold the other side the same way. Tape along this back edge. Oh, we also need to make a cut about like this. We open this up, fold it over itself, and add a piece of tape. And a nice, generous loop of tape. Push down and press. We'll need another loop of tape to put just here, just behind the front lip of that. Bring your hand through here. Then get situated with the skull. Bring it in. Find out where it feels most comfortable and press. There we go. Now we've got it situated. Well, everyone, I hope you enjoyed making a Grim Reaper with us. And remember, you can always customize these and make changes to make it your own. With just a couple of color changes and a different shape to the eyes, I think we have a very different character here. Who's this cheap knockoff?
Ah, who are you calling a knockoff?
We'll see who has the last laugh. Ho ho ho. Ho ho ho. Ho ho ho. Ho ho ho.